All right, we're back. And if people are still watching, shocker, contacting other groups and other people of like mind, don't do it. I just honestly don't do it. First of all, trust with me is an issue. I don't have any. None whatsoever. There is one person on this entire planet that I trust without question, and that's faith. If you look up the word faith, it's a belief without question. I have none for nothing and no one except for that one person. And that's just how it is. So I don't trust anybody for any reason whatsoever. Excuse me. But if you do contact other people in groups, make sure that you're misleading as far as most of your conversations. Don't ever let them know where you're at. Don't ever let them know your true beliefs. Don't ever let them know what you have prepared. You know, just don't let them have any of that information. Now, if you decide to get with these people, and it's an honest, working relationship that works out for an extended period of time, and extended I mean over several years, then maybe. But in all honesty, it's not a good idea, and for many reasons. One is skipping the prepper groups and all that, because I've never really encountered prepper groups. Now, I have had 3 encounters with militias, and I'll talk about that. And I'll tell you this much right here: those 3 encounters were not good, and partly on, because of me, because of my attitude. I'm not a follower. I was when I was younger. Well, I wasn't necessarily a follower, but I definitely wasn't a leader. And I don't consider myself a leader now, but I guarantee that I'm not going to follow anybody. I'm a leader of one, but I have had 3 encounters, and I'm gonna avoid mentioning names and places and things of that nature to a great extent, because even though those 3 encounters really weren't good encounters for me, I'm not going to out anybody, and I'm not going to talk trash about groups, mention their names, and then other people are like, oh, I know those people and they're fantastic, or oh, well, hey, you didn't like those people, I'm not even going to take a look at them or whatever. So I'm going to avoid that kind of stuff, but I will talk about the 3 incidents. And I'll give the 3 like little code names. So the first one I'll call 15 Foxtrot. Now 15. Let's see. Look here. Well, let's go with 9 Juliet for the first one. 9er Juliet. And this was my first encounter with a militia group. I found them on the internet. And as far as I've ever known, they're strictly an internet group. They're keyboard commandos, in my opinion. And I contacted them. I talked to them briefly on the internet, expressed a little bit of what I was looking for, what they were expecting, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I could just tell by the way things were working that it just didn't seem like it was going to work too well, even if we did get together. Come to find out, they don't even get together. It's all, keyboard commando stuff, people talking about it. But it never really happened. So that was in a, you know, in a small way. That's exactly what happened there. There's much more to the story, but I'm not going to bore anybody with everything. Just that I didn't see myself working with these guys, only because from the get-go, it just seemed like they were just more interested in internet militia type stuff, and they weren't really interested in getting together. The second group, which I'll call the 15 Foxtrot, found them over the internet, contacted them, and just to let you know that these guys are a national organization. These guys do have a national group. So anyway, I contacted them on the internet, and I got an immediate response. So it was like, I don't know, 2 days later, I got a response. That's pretty good, I think. But 2 days later, I got a response, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, we're looking for people, and it'll be fantastic. Won't you come and train? We're gonna train next month, and we got a meeting, and da 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 da. So I said, sure, why not? You know, what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, they take me up to the hills and kill me. You know. So one of the guys was going to be driving through my town. He said, you know, I'll pick you up, and, you know, toss me some gas money, and we'll get you there. And I said, sure, cool, that's fine. So the day came. They came pick me up. 6 hours later, we ended up at their camp, which I think was stupid on their part. They legitimately took me to their main camp without ever even meeting me, which I don't think was a smart idea. But anyway, I hung out with them for the day. We worked on clearing some woods, you know, gathering up some wood. They were going to build some shelters, and they had a couple 55-gallon drums they were cutting up and making fire pits and other stuff like that. And it was okay. There was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 people there. And out of those 15 or 20 people, not including me, but of the people that were part of the group, only one was actually from the military, that I could, you know, was pretty sure just by listening to him talk, was from the military. Of course, their leader was an ex-Army Ranger. Aren't they all? And that's another thing. I've always found that these so-called leaders of these militia groups are always either ex-Army Rangers, an ex-Army Green Beret, or an ex-Navy SEAL. So anyway, I hung out for the day, and then they hit me up for joining their group. And of course there were national dues and fees and this and that and that and that and that and that. And I told them I would think about it, even though at that point I was pretty much decided that I wasn't really going to join them. You know, I thought I would maybe hang out on occasion with them, you know, just to kind of get a feel of working with other people in that kind of environment. But their biggest concern was how much money they could get out of me. So anyway, we have the 15 so people. We have one person that was military, and he was Air Force. Not that there's anything wrong with the Air Force, but he was not only Air Force, but he was a paper pusher. Here you go, hold on. You went out? No? Okay. Anyway, he was a paper pusher from the Air Force. And then, of course, you have your ex-retired Vietnam Ranger who was in charge. And then his second in command was a an extremely heavy, very ill, by his account, physically ill person who sat on a log all day with a rifle, pulling guard duty all day long, because when something would come up, he was just too physically unable to do it. Which is fine if that's, that's the occurrence, but what happens if something really does occur? You going to sit around all day and have everybody else do the work? Because how long is somebody going to put up with that? I don't know. So we're going to cut off here, and we're going to continue with the next video. And we're going to stay on this topic. Thank you for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcrafting.